It was a quiet night when my wife, my son, and I drove home from the mall. The road was dark, barely lit by the occasional street lamp, and the hum of the car engine was the only sound apart from my son's loud cries. He was wailing, his tiny fists pounding against the seat, furious that we hadn't bought him the toy he desperately wanted. He always asked for a toy whenever we visited the mall. If I had extra money, I would buy it for him. But tonight we had other priorities. I calmly explained that we couldn't buy the toy this time. He didn't take it well. His tantrum started inside the mall, and by the time we reached the parking lot, he was screaming. Other shoppers stared, judging us silently. Embarrassed, my wife and I decided to leave immediately. We secured him in his car seat and drove off, hoping he'd calm down during the ride. But he didn't. He kept crying, his voice piercing through the silence of the night. I gripped the steering wheel tighter, my patience wearing thin. My wife tried to soothe him, but nothing worked. The frustration boiled inside me until I finally lost control. "Be quiet!" I shouted, my voice echoing inside. "The car," my wife gasped, turning to me with a look of disappointment. "Do you really think yelling at him will help?" she said, her voice calm yet firm. Guilt hit me instantly. I glanced at the rearview mirror and saw my son's tear-streaked face, his small body trembling. Fear had replaced his anger, and I hated myself for causing it. Then for a moment my focus wavered, my grip loosened, the road blurred, and before I could react, headlights flooded my vision. A massive truck coming straight for us impact. Everything turned black. I woke up to the sterile scent of antiseptic and the rhythmic beep of a heart monitor. A dull pain throbbed in my ribs, and my head felt heavy. My body ached, but panic overpowered the pain. "Where's my wife? My son?" I asked the doctor beside me. The doctor hesitated. "You need to rest. You've suffered several injuries." "Where are they?" I demanded. He didn't answer. Instead, he turned away, avoiding my eyes. My heart pounded as an unbearable sense of dread settled in my chest. Weeks later, I was discharged and returned home. But home didn't feel like home anymore. My wife had changed. She barely spoke, barely moved, and spent hours sitting in silence. My son, however, seemed different. Every night, I heard him whisper, "Daddy, buy me a toy." At first I thought it was a dream, but then I realized it was real. He stood outside my bedroom door staring at me in the dim light, his voice eerily emotionless. "Daddy, buy me a toy." I shivered. "It's late, son. Go to bed." But he never stopped. Night after night, the whispers continued. My wife never reacted. She just sat there staring at nothing, as if she didn't hear him, as if she didn't see him. One night I couldn't take it anymore. "Anak, go to sleep," I snapped. He stepped forward, his face half hidden in the shadows. "But Daddy, you never bought me a toy." His voice sent chills down my spine. Then my wife, who had been silent for so long, spoke. Her voice was broken, filled with sorrow. "Please make it stop. Let us rest." I turned to her, my chest tightening. "What do you mean?" Tears streamed down her face. "We are tired. Let us rest." Dread clawed at my throat. I bolted upright, my mind spinning, and then it hit me. I ran out of the house, my legs trembling. I knew where I needed to go. The cemetery. Under the pale moonlight, I found their graves. Side by side, my wife's name carved into one, my son's on the other. I collapsed to my knees, my entire body shaking. My wife, my son, they never made it out of the accident. I had been living with their ghosts. A gust of wind sent shivers down my spine, and from behind me, I heard a small voice whisper, "Daddy, where's my toy?"